Imagine a place so hot, the ground can cook an egg in minutes. This is not a scene from a movie, this is a real place on our planet. It is called the Lut Desert. Many people think Death Valley in California is the hottest place on Earth. For a long time it held the record for the highest air temperature ever recorded. But the Lut Desert, located in Iran, is a different kind of hot. It holds the record for the highest land surface temperature ever measured. The ground itself gets hotter than anywhere else. This isn't just a desert, it's a furnace. It's a place that tests the very limits of life. When you think of a desert, you might picture sand dunes, camels. The Lut Desert has those things, but it is much more extreme. It is a vast, empty, and incredibly powerful place. I have been to many harsh environments around the world. I have faced freezing blizzards in the Arctic and dense jungles in the Amazon, but the heat in the Lut Desert is a unique challenge. It is a dry, relentless heat that drains your energy and your will to survive. It is a place that demands respect. You cannot fight the Lut. You can only learn to move with it, to understand its rhythms, and to protect yourself from its incredible power. This desert is a true wilderness. It is one of the last few places on Earth that remains largely untouched by humans. When you stand in the middle of the Lut, you feel incredibly small. The sky is huge, and the land stretches out forever in every direction. There is a deep silence here, broken only by the sound of the wind. This silence can be peaceful, but it can also be terrifying. The Lut Desert, or Dashti Lut as it is known locally, is located in the southeast of Iran. It is a huge area, covering about 51,800 square kilometers. That is bigger than the entire country of Switzerland. This is not your typical sandy desert. The Lut is a basin, a low-lying area surrounded by mountains. This geography is a key reason why it gets so hot. The high mountains trap the hot air in the basin. The air cannot escape easily, so it just gets hotter and hotter under the powerful sun. It's like a giant bowl that is being cooked from above, with no lid to let the steam out. What makes the Lut Desert so special is not just its heat, but also its incredible dryness. It is one of the most arid places on the entire planet. Some parts of the desert may not see a single drop of rain for many years. The air is so dry that it pulls moisture from everything. It pulls water from the ground, it pulls water from any plants, and most dangerously, it pulls water from your body. You are constantly losing water through your sweat and your breath, even if you are just sitting still. This makes dehydration a constant and serious threat. You have to drink water all the time, much more than you would normally. The name Lut means emptiness in Persian, and it is a very fitting name. For vast stretches there is absolutely nothing. No plants, no animals, no signs of life. It feels like you are on another planet, maybe Mars. The landscape is alien and beautiful in a harsh way. The ground is often covered in dark black pebbles and volcanic rock. Dark colors absorb more sunlight and heat. This dark surface is another reason the desert gets so incredibly hot. The dark ground of the Lut acts like a giant black frying pan, soaking up the sun's energy and making the surface temperature soar. This combination of factors, the basin geography, the extreme dryness, and the dark-colored ground, creates a perfect storm for record-breaking heat. Understanding these factors is the first step to understanding how to survive here. So how hot does it actually get in the Lut Desert? The numbers are hard to believe. Scientists have recorded land surface temperatures of over 70 degrees Celsius. That is 159 degrees Fahrenheit. Think about a hot cup of coffee, around 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. The ground in the Lut can get as hot as a fresh cup of coffee. You could not walk barefoot on this ground. It would cause serious burns in seconds. Even thick-soled boots still let intense heat through. The air is also extremely hot, though not as hot as the ground. The feeling of the heat is what truly gets you, not a humid jungle-like heat, a dry, baking heat, like standing in front of an open oven. The sun is relentless, with no clouds for shade. Sunlight presses down, it reflects off the ground, heated from above, heated from below. Skin feels tight and dry, lips crack fast. Everything you touch becomes scorching hot. Metal water bottles heat in minutes. Car steering wheels can cause burns. Even the air you breathe feels hot entering your lungs. Your body works incredibly hard to stay cool. Sweat evaporates instantly. You can lose lots of water without noticing. This tricks you into underestimating dehydration risk. Surviving this heat means changing how you live. Become nocturnal like desert animals. Midday is for rest and finding shade. Move only in the very early morning or late in the evening when the sun is low. Standing in the Lut at midday shows the full power of the sun. It humbles you and teaches respect for shade and the life-giving power of water. The Lut Desert is a powerful teacher, and its lessons are unforgettable. The landscape of the Lut Desert is one of the most unique and spectacular in the world. It's not just one type of desert, it's many different landscapes all in one huge area. Yardangs, one of the most famous features, huge sharp ridges of rock and sand, carved by powerful winds. The wind can blow for more than 100 days straight, carrying sand and dust like a relentless storm, acting like a giant sandblaster, shaping the land over thousands of years. The Yardangs can be massive, some as tall as a 40-story building. They're all aligned, following the path of the wind. Walking among them feels like a natural city of towers. Locals call it Shar-e-Lut, City of Lut. Amazing at sunrise and at sunset. Long, dramatic shadows, but also confusing. The ridges all look the same. Easy to get lost in this maze of rock and sand. The wind that made this place is always present. It howls through the Yardangs, making eerie sounds, beautiful and dangerous at once. Gandam Barren, the toasted wheat, a black rock plateau of volcanic stones, where some of the highest surface temperatures on Earth were recorded. Dark rocks absorb intense heat, making the ground searing hot. A local legend, a caravan left wheat here, and when they came back the wheat was roasted by the ground. The name and the extreme conditions are linked. Elsewhere in the desert are massive sand dunes. Some reach up to 300 meters high, almost as tall as the Eiffel Tower. These mountains of sand constantly shift and change. Climbing them is a huge physical challenge. Each step sinks into soft sand. But from the top, an endless sea of sand to the horizon. The Lut is a gallery of natural art sculpted by heat and wind. Measuring the temperature in a place as remote and extreme as the Lut Desert is not easy. You can't just place a normal weather station there. The equipment would probably break down in the intense heat and dusty wind. Also, a weather station only measures the air temperature in one specific spot. The Lut Desert is huge, and scientists wanted to know the temperature across the entire area. To solve this problem, they looked to the sky. They used satellites. Satellites orbiting the Earth have special instruments that can measure the temperature of the planet's surface from space. One of these instruments is called MODIS, which stands for Moderate Resolution Imaging Spectroradiometer. It is on board NASA's Terra and Aqua satellites. MODIS can measure infrared radiation, which is the heat that is given off by the Earth's surface. By measuring the intensity of this infrared radiation, scientists can calculate the temperature of the surface below. This is called measuring the land skin temperature. Using data collected by MODIS over several years, scientists at NASA studied hotspots all over the globe. They analyzed the data from 2003 to 2009. They found that the Lut Desert consistently had the highest surface temperatures year after year. In 5 of those 7 years, the hottest spot on the entire planet was located in the Lut. In 2005, the satellite recorded the highest temperature ever, a blistering 70.7 degrees Celsius, which is 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit. This satellite technology allowed scientists to discover what local people had known for a long time, that the Lut Desert is a place of truly exceptional heat. The discovery of the Lut Desert's record-breaking heat was a big surprise to many people. This method of using satellites is incredibly powerful. It allows us to monitor the most remote and inhospitable places on Earth without having to send people or delicate equipment there. It gives us a bigger picture of our planet's climate. The discovery showed that there are still amazing things to learn about our own world. And it confirmed that the Lut is not just another desert. It is a true world champion when it comes to extreme heat, a place where the sun's power is felt more intensely than anywhere else. This method allows us to monitor remote and inhospitable regions from space. It gives us new tools to study our changing planet and to understand extremes like the Lut. Even in a place as harsh as the Lut Desert, life finds a way. It has to be incredibly tough and clever to survive here. The animals that live in the Lut are, honestly, masters of adaptation. Most of them are nocturnal. They spend the hot, dangerous daytime hours hidden away in burrows deep under the ground, where the temperature is much cooler. They only come out at night to hunt and search for food when the desert has cooled down. One amazing survivor is the Ruppel's fox. This is a small desert fox with very large ears. The big ears are not just for hearing, they also help the fox to lose body heat. The ears have many blood vessels close to the surface of the skin. As blood flows through the ears, the heat escapes into the cooler night air. These foxes are also very good at getting water from their food. They eat insects, small reptiles and rodents which provide them with the moisture they need to survive without drinking much if any water. Even some insects have found ways to live here. Some beetles have long legs that keep their bodies high above the scorching hot ground. They also have a special waxy coating that helps to prevent water loss. They move quickly to find food before the ground heats up. For humans, survival is a different story. No people live permanently in the hottest, central parts of the Lut Desert. However, there are small villages and communities around the edges of the desert, in areas where there are oases and underground water sources. These people have lived in this region for centuries. They know where to find water, how to build homes that stay cool, and how to travel safely. Their traditional knowledge is a vital survival guide. They don't fight the desert, they live in harmony with it. Their traditional knowledge is passed down from generation to generation. Their survival is a testament to the power of adaptation and the ingenuity of life. The most obvious danger in the Lut Desert is the heat. Heat stroke and dehydration are constant threats. Without enough water, your body can shut down very quickly. You can become confused, you can become dizzy, you can become weak. This is especially dangerous because you need a clear mind to make good survival decisions. You must carry much more water than you think you will need. A good rule is to have at least 10 liters of water per person, per day. And you must protect yourself from the sun at all times. A wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, loose light-colored clothing. These basic measures save lives. But the heat is not the only danger. The Lut Desert is a very remote place. If you have a problem like a car breakdown or an injury, you are on your own. There is no mobile phone service in most of the desert. Help can be hundreds of kilometers and many hours or even days away. That is why you should never travel into the Lut alone. Travel with at least 2 vehicles. Carry a satellite phone for emergencies. Preparation is everything. Have a solid plan before you enter and bring recovery gear, spare tires, first aid. The wind is another major challenge. Winds can be incredibly strong and can last for days. They create massive sandstorms that reduce visibility to zero. It is like being inside a thick, brown fog. If a sandstorm approaches, stop, take shelter inside your vehicle or behind rock formations and wait for it to pass. The landscape itself can be treacherous. Yardangs create a confusing maze, soft sand can trap a vehicle, sharp rocks can puncture tires. Navigating the Lut requires skill, experience, and constant attention. Always be aware of your surroundings, think several steps ahead, and never underestimate this place. Stepping into the Lut Desert is like stepping onto a different planet. The first thing that hits you is the silence. It's a deep, profound silence that you can almost feel. In our noisy modern world, it is a rare and powerful experience. Then, the heat wraps around you like a heavy blanket. It's an intense, dry heat that you feel deep in your bones. Your body immediately starts working overtime to cope. Survival here is not just a physical battle, it's a mental one. The vast, empty landscape can play tricks on your mind. It can make you feel isolated and vulnerable. To face the Lut, you need more than just water. You need shelter and a strong mind. You need a strong mind. You need to stay calm and focused even when you are hot, tired, and thirsty. Panic is your worst enemy. It clouds your judgment and leads to bad decisions. The most important piece of survival gear is your brain. In the Lut, this is more true than ever. You learn to appreciate the small things, a moment of shade, a cool sip of water, the beauty of a desert sunset. These simple things become incredibly precious. The experience strips away all non-essential things and forces you to focus on what truly matters: staying alive. When you push your body and mind to their limits, you discover a strength you never knew you had. You come out with a new perspective on life and a deeper respect for the power of nature. The challenge of the Lut is what draws explorers to it, a test of skill, endurance, and spirit. It is an opportunity to see if you have what it takes to survive in one of the world's most extreme environments. It's not about conquering the desert. You can never conquer a place like the Lut. It's about conquering yourself. It's about facing your fears and pushing past your perceived limits. Why are we so fascinated by extreme places like the Lut Desert? I believe it is part of our human spirit. We have an innate curiosity and a deep-seated desire to explore the unknown, to push the boundaries of what is possible. From the highest mountains to the deepest oceans, we are drawn to the wild corners of our world. They remind us that despite all our technology, we are still a part of nature. They put our lives into perspective and show us a world much bigger and more powerful than we are. Exploring extreme environments teaches us about resilience, adaptation, and the tenacity of life. By studying these climates, scientists learn how our world works and how it is changing. These landscapes are like natural laboratories and can even inform us about conditions on other planets. These adventures also teach us about ourselves. When stripped of comforts, you learn who you really are. You discover your strengths, your weaknesses, and the true depth of your inner will. This process of self-discovery builds confidence, character, and a quiet strength you carry long after the adventure ends. So, while the 70-degree Lut Desert may seem like a land of death and emptiness, it is also a place of great power, beauty, and learning. It is a reminder of the incredible diversity and extremity of our planet. It calls to the adventurer in all of us, daring us to step out of our comfort zones and into the wild. By respectfully exploring these final frontiers, we learn about the world and enrich our human experience. The wild places are not empty spaces, they are an essential part of who we are. Remember to stay prepared and stay alive.